Losing emotional control sucks. Let me tell you a quick story. The other night, my kids are getting ready for bed. It's bedtime routine. Typically takes about 10 minutes and it's simple. Brush teeth, pajamas on, tuck-in time, done. Now, I've got work that I still need to do. So, tell my kids to get to bed. After 10 minutes, they're not in bed. They're playing around, messing around with each other, and I start to get frustrated. So I remind them, girls, it's bedtime. After 20 minutes, they're still not in bed. My frustration starts to rise, and so I remind them, girls, it's bedtime. Now, after 30 minutes of shenanigans go by, my frustration is at its peak. And so I snap at them, and I say, girls, if you don't go to bed, no screen time tomorrow. Well, that did it. They went to bed. Mission accomplished. 5 minutes later, I'm downstairs, back to work, and I feel guilty. I feel ashamed. And I think to myself, why did I react like that? Why did I snap? They were just having fun with each other. Isn't that behavior that I should support? Wasn't there a better way that I could have acted? And then I started to justify this behavior to myself, like, oh, well, if the kids don't go to bed on time, I still have work to do, I'm gonna be up late, then I'm not gonna be able to sleep, and if I don't sleep well, then I'm gonna wake up all crabby, and then I'm not gonna be a good dad, worker, husband, yada, 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 yada. It's just a story that I tell myself. I perceived their actions as a blocker to what I needed to get done. And while I was sitting there thinking, I was reminded by a quote from Marcus Aurelius in his book Meditations. Stop perceiving the pain you imagine and you remain completely unaffected. Yeah, my pain was imagined. So when was the last time that you lost your temper, or you lost your control, or you snapped at somebody? After the fact, how did you feel? Your anger may have felt great at the time, and you might have felt justified, but after the emotions passed, and after the damage is done, usually there's feelings of guilt and shame. Now, it never helps to overreact with anger, so today we're going to talk about overreacting, emotional mastery, and then 4 steps that you can take to master your emotions. First off, we need to be clear though, emotional mastery is not about stomping out your emotions or not feeling anything. It's about acknowledging that you, we are in control of our emotions and that we don't have to react to those feelings. Our feelings and our actions are 2 different things, and yet we conflate them to be the same. I mean, for example, you might say, well, when I'm angry, I yell. Okay, but you don't have to yell. When other people are angry, they might react differently. Maybe they quiet down. Maybe they simply talk more sternly and look you in the eye. There's a variety of reactions to the emotions that we have, whether it be happiness, anger, jealousy, etc. But regardless, there are feelings and there are actions. We have to own them. Now, while I could talk about reactions to all kinds of emotions, let's focus on anger, because we can all identify with reacting out of anger, and it's also the most damaging. And before we talk about how to fix it and what to do about it, let's talk about how it's actually affecting our lives. So first off, emotional overreactions and anger can negatively impact our relationships. Think about how we make other people feel when we're angry. The words that we use, the actions that we take, they risk personal attack, provocation, or putting the other person on the defensive. That's not really a good way to interact with other people. It's not very constructive. If we snap at our kids or loved ones, we can make them feel depressed or make them feel like we're judging them or like they're unworthy of our affection. And think about this with your spouse. I mean, if you yell at your spouse or if they yell at you, I mean, how do you feel? Maybe misunderstood, unappreciated, attacked? You get the picture. Now, even if we're not yelling at somebody and we're just being angry, anybody with mirror neurons, and that's everybody, is going to feel that anger, and that emotion spreads. It's contagious. Also, in our relationships, anger leads to a lack of trust. Think about talking with your best friend. You want to confide in them. Let's say you're looking for some advice or you just want to vent. But what if they have a habit of overreacting? Are you going to trust them with your feelings and with what you're thinking about? No. And if you did this with your spouse, would you trust them? Would they trust you? Now, while it's easy to see that these overreactions can negatively impact our relationships, one thing that we forget is that those negative reactions, they affect us. When we are angry, our performance, our personal performance decreases. When we're angry, we can't think clearly, we're stressed out, and our clarity of thinking and our decision making goes right out the window. And if you're trying to achieve more and do more things and be more effective, having that negative emotion, it's not helping. I mean, have you ever done your best work while you're angry? Anger is a performance inhibitor. Now, researchers like Martin Seligman and Sean Achor and the whole world of positive psychology is well aware of what a negative mindset does to the brain. Sean Achor puts it really well in his book, The Happiness Advantage. He says, when your brain is happy, it performs significantly better than it does at negative, neutral, or stressed. Your intelligence rises, your creativity rises, and your energy levels rise. Negativity, anger, it's killing your gains, bro. But then you might be saying, whoa, wait a minute. But shouldn't I have the right to feel angry? I mean, there are some things out there that can make us angered and can get a reaction out of us. Isn't that okay? Yeah, that is okay. There are times when you should feel angry, but that's not the point of this. The point is to acknowledge that your anger is your emotion to control. It is yours to own, and the actions that you take after that anger are also yours to own. Feeling the emotions is a-okay. But this is about not letting your emotions control you. Emotional control will allow you to acknowledge your feelings, identify the root cause, and then choose an appropriate action. This is part of the Stoic mindset. Acknowledge what you can control and forget the rest. Your emotions are yours to own. So what do we do about it? The first thing you can do is take time. Oftentimes, we don't have time to analyze what we're feeling in order to choose an appropriate action. Instead, something happens and then we immediately react. We need to create space to analyze. Now, part of this has to do with our expectations. So for example, you get in your car and you're going somewhere, you expect to go from point A to B without any problems, but then you hit a traffic jam. Now, your expectations are shot and you're angry because how dare traffic get in your way? Now, this emotional feeling is a reaction, and it's okay not to control that in the moment, but what you do next matters, and what you do comes from understanding how you really feel and why you feel that way. And so we need to move to step 2. Ask the 5 whys. Now, I should add here that anger is not the real emotion in a situation. Anger is a surface level emotion. There's always something underneath. If you dig deep into why you're angry, you are likely going to find that fear is a dominant emotion, but you might find that there's other emotions like jealousy or injustice. If you ask yourself, why am I mad? You're going to give yourself some surface level answer. If you keep asking whys and go deeper and deeper and deeper, you will find a root cause. So for example, let's use my kids' bedtime routine as an example. We might start by asking the question, why are you mad when your kids don't get to bed on time? Because I have work to do. Okay, why do you need to get this work done? Well, because I care about my career and I've been working hard and I want to get that promotion. It's important to me. All right, why is your career important to you? Well, because it allows me to earn so I can provide for my family. And why do you want to take care of your family? Because I'm dad, I'm the husband, I'm the man of the house. It's my job to provide. Okay, why is providing important to you as the man of the house? Well, because I want my kids and my wife to respect me. And for me, provisions earns respect. And if I don't provide, then my fear is that they'll look at me like I'm some kind of loser or like I'm a failure or something. You can see from this example that my anger or frustration from not getting to bed on time stems from a fear of not being able to get my work done and having this cascading effect of not being able to provide for my family. Now, when I ask these 5 whys, I quickly realize that this is just some BS story that I tell myself. Is it true that if I don't get to work 5 minutes, 10 minutes after my kids go to bed, that I'm gonna somehow be a failure in my career? No, that's ridiculous. But would I have gotten to that understanding without asking those questions? No. Now that we've got to the bottom of why, now let's take a pause and let's get some additional perspective. Step 3, look at this experience through the eyes of somebody else. So if we use the same example, I could take the perspective of my kids. What do they think if I'm overreacting when they're playing? They're having fun together and I'm yelling at them to get to bed. Like, does that make any sense? How do they then view me as a dad? Shouldn't I be supporting fun? Shouldn't I be supporting my 2 kids getting along? Put yourself in their shoes. How does your behavior impact others? After this, move on to step 4, own it. You've discovered and acknowledged that your anger, your overreaction came from another emotion, but it's your emotion. Nobody did that to you. You did it yourself through the stories that you tell. Blaming others for your reaction is pointless, and it takes all the power away from us to take action on our behalf. So instead, own the reaction, own the responsibility, and choose to do something different. For example, the next time it's bedtime routine, maybe we could start the routine earlier. Maybe I could let my kids play and lighten up a little bit. Maybe I can change my story altogether. Maybe you can change yours. Losing emotional control sucks. It negatively impacts you and the people around you. So the next time you're angry, walk through these 4 steps. Take time. Ask the 5 whys to identify the root emotion. Put yourself in someone else's shoes and then own it. I'll leave you with another quote from Marcus Aurelius. External things are not the problem. It's your assessment of them, which you can erase right now. If the problem is something in your own character, who's stopping you from setting your mind straight? And if it's that you're not doing something you think you should be, why not just do it? Thanks for watching, everybody. Until next time.